So the closer,
Yeah.
David Chappelle.
The GOAT.
Man, it's funny because I've been watching Dave Chappelle for years, and obviously a genius, one of the greatest to ever do it. But I didn't actually watch it when it first came out. This last Netflix special that he has. But what I did get a good dose of was all of the backlash, and I said to myself when I read a lot of the comments and the stories, I said that sounds like classic Dave Chappelle. And the one thing I really enjoyed about this one is he educated people. Like, in order to be a comedian, I don't think people understand how knowledgeable you have to be about things. Because number one, first off, you have to have a skill set to continually make people laugh night after night, year after year, in order for you to remain relevant. That is a very hard job. That's actually, to me, harder than being an actor, or even if you're an artist, because you really get to perform the same things over and over. And for him to have been doing it, I believe he's been in the game for 30 years, for as long as he has, to have had the success that he's had. Like, I think we can all agree that he is something special. He tells jokes that only Dave Chappelle can tell. Some of them are unrepeatable. But in light of the situations that are going on in the world today, we've got all these separate communities. We've got the LGBTQ community. We've got the transgender community. We've got feminist community. And then, of course, we also have the Black community. And then there's the white community. There's all these different communities within the United States of America. This special, Dave Chappelle took the time, and when I saw it, I saw something completely different. He was educating people about the struggles of different groups that they have to go through. But for some reason, when Black people go through it, nobody seems to be upset. And so one of the jokes that he said was, he realized that in this country, a Black person, an unarmed Black person, can get murdered by the police, but you can't hurt a gay person's feelings. Man, oh man. And so now there's this, of course, we talked about cancel culture before. People are trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. Netflix already said Dave Chappelle will not be canceled. We stand by him. And so I wanted to talk about tonight what message he was trying to send when he was talking to the LGBTQ community and to the transgender community. Now, I believe you saw the special first. You saw it before me, and I said, yo, we got to discuss this. What are your thoughts on the special and the backlash that he's currently receiving because of it?
First off, I salute Dave Chappelle. Let me say this first, man. The world, there was a time where there were two type of people that for sure they were going to tell the truth, the uncomfortable truth. But the world has switched that. The world has watered it down. And that was comedians, Black comedians, and ministers. Those were people that would just tell the truth. They told it in different ways, but it was uncomfortable, but they told it. And the world has switched that. And we had very few comedians that did that. To me, the ones I saw, it was only two. And I don't know, now that I think about it, I don't know if the world could have handled a Dave Chappelle and a Bernie Mac. Because Bernie Mac was another one that just, if Bernie Mac was still here, he would literally be doing the same thing Dave's doing. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And I don't give a damn about it. How you feel about it? Dave Chappelle can do this because Dave Chappelle, he has what we call, I don't give a you know what money. Like, Dave Chappelle is fine. Dave Chappelle can stop telling jokes today and his grandkids will be all right. Like,
yeah. Hey, I just got to add one more person in there. Legend. If Richard Pryor.
Oh, you know what? See, I didn't want to go back that far, but absolutely. He was doing it too. But to me, I think we should salute people like that go tell the truth. It's not like he got up there just dogging them, just making jokes about them. No, he came with facts. He used their logic and he broke it down and said, this is how I feel about it. I don't have a problem with you being this way, but the way you go about it is that ain't right. He just so happened to tell it in a funny way. So what happens is he's a comedian. First off, he's a comedian. There are jokes. There's truth to it, but there's jokes. The problem is he's a comedian. He has a platform and people are laughing. Now it's like, oh, they're laughing at us. No, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing at the jokes. But I respect her response when it was like, what you feel about the council culture council? I don't give a damn. My check already been cashed. Like he told y'all from the beginning, like, hey, I'm just to let you know this how I feel. I don't care what you say about it. Like Twitter is not a real world. He's maybe me, you, a few other people, Dave Chappelle are the only people that believe Twitter is not a real world. Who are they to counsel somebody? That's a made up, like, I'm not about to, like, really Twitter? That's what runs the world. But to me, the reaction, I mean, it was expected. It was expected. You live in a world now where you can't offend a certain culture. You better not say anything about that culture. You better not say anything. Literally, like what he said was, the baby murdered a guy in Walmart. Nothing happened to him. He killed someone.
Well, it was also self-defense. That's the part he left out.
Yeah, that too. But still, he killed. Like, think about it. Self-defense or not, a black man kills somebody. They don't give a damn about self-defense.
No, I wouldn't say that, especially when you got it on camera. It's like and not to get into it that much, but I get your point.
Right. That's my point is it was a black man that caught killing somebody. He said a statement at an event that offended people and he wasn't allowed to perform anymore. They took money out of his pocket because of a comment he made. Not slapping somebody, not putting his hands on somebody, but because of a comment he made. And that's what he was talking about. So the reaction was what we expected. Like, you're going to have a group of people that are going to be offended. They're going to drive that narrative of him being insensitive, of him being careless, him not caring about people. They're going to push that and push that and push that. But it didn't work because Dave Chappelle is Dave Chappelle. And he told y'all from the beginning, hey, this is how this is going to go. That literally before he even got into it, he said, I'm gonna address this, I'm gonna address that. That was your cue to. It's so funny. We had a harassment class at work today. And one of my questions was, hey, listen, man, that's the thing. Like, that word harassment or offensive is, if I give you a disclaimer in the beginning, at that point, it's your choice to either stay or leave. I can't offend you if I already told you, hey, this is what it is. This is such and such. So to be able, to me, I feel like that trumps all harassment or offensive card right there. If he gave you the disclaimer, you should have went to another special. So I respect him because he's another man that's standing on his own 2 feet, believing what he believes, saying what he says, and not folding for anybody, because we got a lot of comedians. We got a lot of people that have switched their whole act. They switched their whole game plan because of they didn't want. And I get it. A lot of people, if you're up and coming, you may have to go that route before you get there. I can't say this because I'm trying to put food on my table. I never will disrespect or talk about anybody that feels that they have to do that to put money in their pockets. I get it. But there's been a lot of guys that have already had it, but because they want more money or because they want more of this, they waver away from what they believe or what they've done to get there because of people in the area telling them, hey, you should do this. You don't want to offend this, or you can get this community over here to support you if you say this, or you do that, or you wear this, or you wear that. Listen, man, I'm going to say this and I'm going to pass it back to you. I do a lot of TikTok comedy videos. One of my things I said I was never going to do, I'm never putting on the dress. I just don't feel like I have to do that. I'm never doing that. You see a lot of dudes on there doing that. Hey, all power to you. I feel you. That may be what you do. I'm not talking down on you, but me personally, I just feel like I'm not doing that. You couldn't, there's not enough money in the world you could pay me to put on a wig or a dress. And to me, I respect people that have that and stand by it. Because a lot of people, when the money is flashing in their face, they don't stand by it. And he's not like that.
Yeah, and here's the thing: he's been like this his whole career.
He told you, like, why are you like? That's what I don't get, man.
Like, dude, it's been over 20 years.
Y'all clearly ain't seen Half Baked.
Or the Chappelle show. Like, here's my biggest issue. So you're Christian. You ever talk to one of them Christians that like to pick out parts of the Bible that they like?
That supports their narrative, yeah.
Right, exactly. That supports their narrative and supports their viewpoint and whatever it is that they want to say or they believe in. But other parts, they don't agree with that. It's like they'll pick out this one verse or this one paragraph or, this is my favorite book. Okay. I get it. We all have our favorites, but you can't negate the rest of it that was clearly put there for a reason. And here's what I'm saying. So you got the LGBTQ community and you have the transgender community and you have feminism. Okay. If I'm about equal rights, if I'm about civil rights, should I only be concerned for myself? Right? Should I only be concerned about the things that just offend me? Or should I be concerned about the things that could possibly offend everyone in this country? So, for example, Dave Chappelle has done a number of rape jokes. I ain't hear nobody say nothing. Dave Chappelle has done a number of very racist jokes. I didn't hear anybody say much of it at all. Dave Chappelle, especially in his sketch comedy, The Chappelle Show, the way he portrayed black people, nobody said nothing. All the niggas and all of that he dropped, nobody said anything at all.
He wanted to stop and they offered him more money to keep doing the jokes.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, and he said one of the execs told him, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly, but I think he made he said something homophobic word or something like that. It's like, Dave, you can't say that because you're not this, right? Basically saying Dave Chappelle is not gay. He said, well, I say nigga a lot and I'm not a nigga either, but you have no problem with me saying that in sketch comedy and my stand-up. But nobody says anything, right? He said something in this past special. He said, if you really been listening to what I've been saying, I'm not against transgenders. I'm not against the LGBTQ community. What I'm telling you is that me as a black person and as a member of the black community, we're literally sitting here wondering, how the hell do y'all get so much done politically? And we've been trying to do it for over 200-300 years. That's literally what he said. Y'all was able to get stuff done like that. If somebody says something about a black person, nothing happens. And I got to allude to the John Gruden situation, because when that situation first came out, it was about racism. It was about the things that John Gruden said in his emails that was racist. When he got fired, media says he resigned, but he got fired. The headline was misogyny and homophobia. It didn't say anything about racism. So that should pretty much tell you why he got fired. You can say something about race. You can be racist, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings. You better not say anything about women. That just sounds a little wrong to me, man. And for you wanting to cancel somebody just for this, when he's clearly done a lot of other things that are just as offensive, even though it's technically under the guise of comedy, and you didn't want to cancel him for that, It sounds a little suspect to me, man. Do I smell hypocrisy?
It's
Right?
all over that, of course.
Look, man, Dave Chappelle, keep being you. Keep doing what you've always done for the past 20 plus years. That is art. That is your art. And not a lot of people can do. Look, they didn't have any problems when he was talking about R. Kelly, Michael Jackson. when he was talking about oh man, that joke he talked about with Macaulay Culkin. Oh man, that was wrong on so I mean a lot of this stuff you can't even repeat. Clearly offensive, no cancel agenda. So my take on it is this, man, because we also live in a very selfish country and people love to I want to make sure that I say this right. People love to capitalize on things that only caters to them, but could give a damn about anybody else. So all this is to me, and I want everybody to have rights, but that's a selfish agenda. That's not a we're equal. We should all no, that's a you agenda. And you clearly, and we talked about this earlier, if somebody's not doing what you want them to do, then that person is wrong. Can we flip the script on that? Right? Let's end with this. So he talked about his friend who was transgender, who was also a comedian. He put her on the stage for one of his shows. Said her show was awful, but reason why he liked her and he was drawn to her was because of her spirit, and she had grit. Basically, you couldn't just poke her and she falls over. Like she could take. He said she would go to his shows and laugh at all the transgender jokes, hard as hell. When she stood up for him, the whole transgender community, and this is the part I want to end on, the whole transgender community turned on one of their own. Turned on one of their own, but were so offended by his jokes and the fact that she stood up for him. Now, I'm going to let y'all process that. We don't know if this was the reason, but he said 6 days later, after that incident happened, she took her own life. That says a lot, man. That says a lot, where you could literally bash somebody so hard. And I'm not saying that that's why, but what he said is, I'm sure it didn't help. So what is this really about?
Things they were saying.
Yeah. So what is this really about? Being belligerent? Is it about just attacking people? Because I've never seen anybody win any type of movement by just attacking people. You might get a temporary victory, but you're not going to win the war.
Nope.
Just think about us as Black people, what us, our parents, our grandparents, great-grandparents, on and on, have endured for centuries. Do we go around attacking people, bro? Do you think any of the progress and the victories that we've enjoyed came from us attacking people? Absolutely not. So, shout out to you, Dave. I know this was one of your last specials that you're going to do in a while, but bro, you are brilliant. You use your platform to educate people, and you do a lot that doesn't get talked about. The only things that get talked about is the things that people don't like.
Oh, I thought you were still going. I didn't want to cut you off. All right, listen, man. Tell us what you think down in the comment section. Tell us what's your thought on Dave Chappelle's closer, and how you feel about that. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at the Black Culture Podcast. You can stream us on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart. I am the Willie Ashford. That is Price. Oh, if you want to support the channel, the Cash App is up top. So go ahead. Nothing is No donation is too small for us. So if you want to go ahead and do that, just go ahead and do whatever is on your heart. But we thank you, man. I am the Willie Ashford. That is Price. We are the Black Culture Podcast.